were finished, not struggling, not rebuilding, finished. Manchester United weren't just losing games, they were losing identity, the kind of team other clubs look forward to playing. And for the first time in decades, Old Trafford didn't feel feared, it felt normal. Then one night, everything changed. Rain pouring, tension everywhere, a game that meant everything. And when the final whistle blew, after a 3-2 win against Liverpool FC, the noise wasn't just celebration, it was realization. Manchester United are back. But how? How does a team go from broken to dangerous in one season? Because just a year ago, this looked impossible. 2025 was a disaster. The squad looked lost. The system didn't work. Nothing connected. They weren't competing. They were surviving. Expensive players, no direction, no identity. And the worst part, people got used to it. Being average became normal. Then came the decision that nobody believed in. Michael Carrick, no hype, no big announcement, no savior energy. Just a former player stepping into chaos. And the reaction, doubt. He's not ready. He's a temporary fix. He's not elite. But what happened next, nobody saw coming. Because Carrick didn't try to be loud. He didn't overcomplicate things. He did something smarter. He simplified everything. Roles became clear. Players understood their jobs. Confidence came back. And suddenly, this wasn't a group of individuals anymore. It was a team. But systems don't work without the right players. And this is where everything changed. Because United didn't just sign players, they signed solutions. Matheus Cunha, not just a striker, a problem. He drops deep, links play, then appears in the box when it matters most. Unpredictable, relentless. Then Brian Mbeumo, direct, explosive, constant pressure, the kind of player defenders hate. Together, they changed how United attack. Faster, sharper, more dangerous, and slowly, results started to change. Not lucky wins, not flukes, control, confidence, consistency. And then came the moment where everything became real, because beating smaller teams is one thing, but beating the best, that's different. This season, United stopped hoping, they started taking. Wins against the biggest teams, dominance where there used to be fear. They didn't just compete, they imposed themselves, and that's when the league understood. This isn't the same Manchester United. This team doesn't wait for moments, they create them. From a team nobody feared to a team nobody wants to face. And the scariest part, they're just getting started. Because now the question isn't can they come back? It's this, how good can this team actually become? Because what we're seeing right now isn't just form, it's transformation. And it starts in the one place every great team is built, the midfield. At the center of everything is Bruno Fernandes. But this version of Bruno, it's different, less chaos, more control. He's not forcing moments anymore, he's choosing them. The risks are smarter, the timing is better. He hasn't lost his creativity, he's mastered it. And next to him is where the real story begins, Kobbie Mainoo. This isn't potential anymore, this is presence. At an age where most players are learning the game, he's controlling it. Calm under pressure, sharp in transition, always one step ahead. He doesn't look like the future, he looks like the present. And together, Bruno, Mainoo, and Casemiro don't just run the midfield, they make it impossible to predict. Because under Michael Carrick, this team doesn't play in straight lines, it moves constantly. Positions change, roles shift, spaces open, then disappear. One moment, a fullback is wide, next moment, he's in midfield. A defender steps forward and suddenly becomes part of the attack. This isn't chaos, it's control disguised as chaos. And that's what makes it so difficult to stop. Because you can't prepare for something that keeps changing. Press them, they play through you. Sit back, they break you down. Man mark, you lose your shape. And once that happens, the game is already gone. But tactics alone don't scare teams, presence does. And for the first time in years, Manchester United have it again. Teams don't walk into Old Trafford expecting points anymore. They come hoping to survive. And you can see it, the intensity, the aggression, the way they celebrate tackles like goals. This isn't just football, it's belief. And then you look at the bench, Joshua Zirkzee, Amad Diallo, and Sesko, who has been a super sub for Man United, always coming through at the right moments. These players don't slow the game down, they change it. Fresh energy, new problems, different threats. That's how you win over 90 minutes. Not just by starting strong, but by finishing stronger. So what makes this squad not normal? It's not just the talent, it's the balance, experience and youth, structure and freedom, control and chaos. Everything fits. And when everything fits, you don't just win games, you take over them. And that brings us back to the man behind it all, Michael Carrick, compared to Zinedine Zidane. Not because of hype, but because of impact. He didn't rebuild from scratch. He understood what was already there and made it work. He gave players clarity, confidence, purpose. And in doing that, he changed everything, from safe option to the manager nobody wants to face. So now we're here, a team rebuilt, a system that works, a squad full of belief, and a club that suddenly feels dangerous again. So the question isn't, are they back? Because that part is already clear. The real question is this just a comeback or the beginning of something bigger? Because if this continues, if this team keeps growing, then this isn't just a good season. This is the start of a new era. So tell me, are Manchester United really back? Or is this something even bigger? Subscribe, because this story, it's only just beginning.